The most me ever talk about this. One man say, because of who I am, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of international people have called.
Yes.
And say, do you want to speak on my house? I said, no, man. In time. But now, at some point, I have to start saying something. Now, I have to be careful, because now you look at everybody sideways now. If this happened to me and it's going to be 2 years and I can't say back a dime.
Shit, yeah.
And I said, Jaja, I'm not happy, but something have happened, something fixing up for God.
Save him from the temptation to seek power at all cost. Leader of a team, and who was elected at a time like this to exercise responsibility and accountability for the good of Jamaica and her citizens.
Yes, JPU family, welcome to another episode of Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Guys, if you're new to this platform, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I am here today to talk to you about what I see trending on the social media space since yesterday. Usain Bolt recently did an interview online with The Fix, and he commented extensively on the scam that happened to him over at the investment firm called SSL. Since the interview, Usain Bolt has come under some criticisms. From my understanding, he feels like the government should do something or should have done something to help him get his money back by now. Since the interview, you have media houses talking about it. Some media houses have said his money never made it to SSL. So they're talking all manner of stuff. You have political operatives and members of the politics who are also commenting, and some of them to an extent may sound like they are saying Usain Bolt made bad decision and want to blame government and all this kind of stuff. Today, Bolt's lawyer put out a statement saying that people are trying to victim shame or blame his client. Well, I'm going to put my perspective to it today, and I'm also going to share some damning information with you regarding the head person over at SSL. First of all, why is it that after so many years, over so many finance ministers in Jamaica, SSL was able to operate the way that they did? Why is it that the FSC did not take away SSL's license before this happened, even when they saw signs and reported these signs of improper behavior and, as they call it, a problem financial institution? Why didn't they pull the license of SSL? It's the same reason why FinSac happened in Jamaica. One of the main reasons why FinSac happened in the 90s under the PNP government, main reason to me is because of insufficient regulation, financial regulation. Yes, there were other factors such as economic stagnation, poor policy making. In any country, the key pillar to financial stability is to have regulations. The FSC sounded the alarm. They sent the warnings, but they did not take the most important step of all, which was to pull the license of SSL. Why is that? Let me just be honest with you guys. According to the FSC, they had concerns that suspending the license could destabilize the financial sector and cause significant damage to investors. By not doing anything, look what we have. A $3 billion fraud hit financial institution over at SSL. Here's what I think. In Jamaica, the truth is we still operate like a plantocracy. Who was going to challenge this man and pull his license? I mean, we're seeing it play out before our very eyes. When you look at all the things that Mark Golding has said and done as a leader of the opposition, and all the things that Andrew Holness cannot do, but he get accused of, and him get bring down for it, you can see what is happening. For example, Mark Golding goes around the country and around the world telling people that Andrew Holness is thief, Andrew Holness is this, Andrew Holness is that. But nobody is coming out saying that they're victims of Andrew Holness. Go figure. Before I hone in on this man who is the founder and was the head of SSL, let me just say this about Usain Bolt. And as much as I hate to say it, it's the truth. When we go to put our money in financial institutions or anywhere, we have a responsibility to make sure that it is safe and that we are doing the right thing. We do as individuals have a responsibility to do that, right? So Usain Bolt, what happened to him is awful, and I hate talking about it. And I hate the fact that he hasn't received any justice. But Usain Bolt should have taken the time to look and to investigate before he put all of that money in one place, 10 million US dollars. Now, with that being said, the law has a duty to make sure that justice is served. And also, Usain Bolt has lawyers and his legal team. They are being paid to defend him. And therefore, they must do their part and the law must take its course, because what happened is criminality at the highest level when we're talking about financial crimes. All right, now let's move on to the founder and the former CEO and board member and chairman and everything over at SSL. I have long been saying that with everything that people are saying about what happened to Usain Bolt, nobody's really talking about this man here. Not even Usain Bolt. He has not mentioned him or any other CEOs over there at SSL. Nobody's talking about the founder and senior member over at SSL. I see that his son right there sued a blogger or two bloggers on TVJ because people started talking about them as leaders of SSL. They don't want anybody talking about them. But I'm going to talk about the father today. Hugh Croskery, Mr. Hugh Croskery, was in serious financial debt. In fact, he's in court right now with a former friend and business partner and the investor at SSL. He tried to settle the debt with a property that his family has shares in, and his own family took him to court for it. You know who Hugh reminds me of? He reminds me of Alex Murdoch. If you follow the story, you would know what I'm talking about. It's even on Netflix. This man is from South Carolina in the United States of America. The case played out on TV. He's doing a life term for the unaliving of his wife and child. Alex Murdoch is an attorney. He's a member of the Murdoch family, a prominent legal dynasty in South Carolina. It all started when Alex found himself in deep debt. He started going after his clients. He robbed everybody and everything that he came in contact with. He lied, and it all caused a domino effect. It's alleged that his wife, now deceased, was going to divorce him. He borrowed money here and there. He stole money, hid money, and it went on and on and on and on. When he took out his wife and his child, that is when everything was revealed. He was in debt up to his neck, even at the time when his wife and his child were unalived. At his trial, he admitted to his financial crimes, but he did not admit to what happened to his wife and his son. According to local media, a man by the name of George Shy, I think I'm pronouncing that properly, a farmer, bakery owner, friend, businessman, and also an investor over at SSL, sued Mr. Hugh Croskery. According to court documents, the matter concerns a portion of land located at Discovery Bay in the parish of St. Anne, registered at such address. It initially formed part of a larger portion of land owned by Coral Cove Management Limited and registered at such address. The larger portion of land was subdivided and sold to first defendant, the man you're looking at on the screen, Mr. Hugh Croskery. It says, having found himself in financial difficulties and being unable to repay his debts, Hugh Croskery used the subject property along with his home in Norbrook as security to obtain a loan for the sum of United States $1 million from the fourth defendant, George Shy, in 2014. At the time this debt became due, Mr. Hugh was unable to repay it. Therefore, George sought to make good of the security, the subject property. An instrument of transfer was lodged on November 11th, 2022 for the purpose of transferring said property from the second defendant and whosoever else in charge of the property. So, from them time there, him owe the man him money and he couldn't pay back the man him debt. So clearly, whatever security you put up, the person who you borrow the money from, them going to want the security, which is the house, right? So now, in a 2023, the man, him friend, an investment partner and all them something there, the man go file lawsuit against him, right? When the man go for file a lawsuit now, the man couldn't get the property. And that's why I'm going to go file a lawsuit, because the property is not owned by just the gentleman on the screen. This is what his family members bust out in a court when they went to fight him for the property. So this family member was given an account of a meeting that he had with Hugh. He said most of the time was spent with Hugh explaining how he ended up in a dire financial predicament. He spoke of having been convinced to provide the property and his Norbrook home as security to cover his indebtedness to a creditor who he did not identify, and that steps had already been taken to enforce this security. Lopez claimed CCML was not mentioned and that Croskery did not offer to sell the property at $3 million US, nor was the figure of $3 million US mentioned. He alleged that at the end of the meeting, Mr. Hugh stated that if we could raise $5 million US, we may be able to keep the property. This statement was not presented as a formal or direct offer, as with any reference to the ROFR, and there was no mention or suggestion of any timeline or deadline. Another interesting part of the lawsuit that was filed by the business partner and person who lent him the money, the retired businessman, bakery owner, and SSL shareholder, he filed a lawsuit with the Supreme Court against Mr. Hugh and his son and Jean and Pantan for fraud, misrepresentation, breach of trust, unjust enrichment, and failure to account for all sums owing to the man. The man said that he was seeking $24.38 million US and $380 million in special damages against the defendants, and is seeking orders to trace their bank and investment accounts, along with an injunction to prevent them from selling or transferring any assets. This man was in some very serious and deep financial difficulties, in debt. So the family now, who are part owners of the property, they're fighting him in court. So the gentleman who filed a lawsuit against him cannot get anything because this has to be settled first. So he's been in debt since like 2014, borrowing money that he can't pay back, trying to sell off property that he didn't tell his family members about, which they are part owner of, didn't tell him about his debt. Usain Bolt comes along with $10 million US to invest. What the heck did people think was going to happen to Usain Bolt? With Mr. Hugh Croskery, so much debt and so much borrowing and so much deceit and the lawsuits, Pantan is the only one behind the bar. And the cowards in Jamaica, in mainstream media, the victims, none of them are coming out questioning this man and, everything that surrounds him. And this is one thing that I love about the media and the press in the United States, because if this had happened in the United States, Mr. Hugh Croskery would have no rest. They would be camped out at his house, questioning him. Couldn't leave him yard, because he would have to explain how come he was in so much debt and everything else that is happening around Usain Bolt's money. I am wondering if Bolt knows any of this. I'm wondering if the son, Mark Croskery, if he knows any of this about his father, that his father had been in deep debt, borrowing money, can't pay it back. I'm sure he knows about the family property and that fight that's happening now in court. But Mark is also a part of the lawsuit that the businessman has filed. The businessman has called them corrupt. The businessman has called them fraudsters and everything else. I have no doubt. It's very clear. SSL was a criminal organization. And just like the FSC said, they didn't say it as bold as I am, but they talk about how they had no regard for financial regulations, which the FSC failed to enforce. Sometime in 2021, when they had this new CEO come on at SSL, he said that they had overcome major challenges under his new management. The company would start heeding the advice of the FSC and they would expand and they would do well and do great things. That was in 2021. What did the FSC say again? They said they didn't pull the license because they were afraid that it would cause some problems where investors are concerned. Well, look what we have here. I am sorry to say it, guys. I forgot to start the truth right now. I do not think that SSL will ever pay back Usain Bolt what they owe him. So far, we see that the chief investment banker over there, the man when named Hugh Croskery, he has no money. He's broke. Who knows what they were doing over? This is much deeper than we know. And, it needs deep investigation. The question now is, being that it's in court, and being that Usain Bolt lawyer said they must sue the FSC. I'm sure I've read that somewhere. If them sue the FSC successfully, because the truth of the matter is the FSC failed to protect Jamaicans from these criminals over at SSL. So if Usain Bolt is successful in his lawsuit and legal pursuit of justice, who is going to pay him back 10 million US? Because he's not going to get it from SSL, me telling you already. And after everything I just share with you about them people here over at SSL, particularly the grandmaster over there of the criminal organization over SSL, when you don't see it already said, both none of money to get back from them. Neither the rest of victims them. So if the FSC gets sued, is who going to pay PM? The Jamaican taxpayer? Want to see why these politicians have to take their job serious? None of these finance ministers never once call out FSC for not pulling the license, even when they publicly reported that SSL was not behaving proper and that they pose a threat to investors. I don't understand. You see, when Mark Golding come and tell Jamaica people about Tapanaris them in the country, and one must give him the country if you make him and him Tapanaris friend them run the country. This is what the Tapanaris them in Jamaica do to the people them. This is what Tapanaris gives in Jamaica. And when they do, none of them down there in Jamaica don't dare hold these people accountable. This is the Tapanaris. And my words, Mark Golding told the PNP people them to give him the country to run, make him and him Tapanaris friend them run the country. The heads them over SSL will favor Mark Golding. This is what the Tapanaris them gives. And the victims, they go silent, they get scared. Nobody no want to talk. Them start to turn upon the government of the day because them are the easiest target. What a sad thing. You know what's sad? Yesterday, I see Parliament open and I see some local dry foot PNP woman stand up beside Mark Golding and the pan. Andrew fi go on, Andrew a thief. Him thief Bolt money. Andrew honest, thief Bolt money. And Mark Golding stand up there and heard that. And him wasn't a decent enough citizen and opposition leader to say, look here, that is not true. He smiled because Andrew Holness is like a Usain Bolt. Him not up there in the Tapanaris according to facial features. and them something there, and ethnicity. Andrew Holness not up there. So the top and Harris, them a look a come back now. True Mark Golding. Usain Bolt, it's highly likely that you're going to end up watching this video. And I want to ask you, how do you feel to hear those few PNP women out there in front of the media saying Andrew a thief? The Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, thief your money, Usain Bolt. You think it would be appropriate for you to put out a statement? Something. What do you think about that? Do you, Usain Bolt, believe that Andrew Holness is responsible for thieving your money or for your loss of your money? And also, before you invested your money over at SSL, did you know anything about the people who are CEOs and chairmen and founders of SSL? I will want to see you get back your money, you're saying. I do. But something about this doesn't feel right anymore. When I see that the opposition of Jamaica, they're trying to campaign on this thing and trying to say that the Prime Minister of Jamaica stole your money or is somehow responsible for stealing your money, this doesn't sit well with me. I can't speak for anybody else, but this not sit well with me. I would like to see justice swing in your favor, but not at the expense of the Prime Minister, honestly. Not at the expense of the Prime Minister, where people are out there saying that the Prime Minister thief your money. That's nasty. That's disgusting. That's terrible. And if I were in your shoes, Usain Bolt, I wouldn't tolerate it. I'm sure that just like how me I hear and see it, me know you are sick and I hear people are say them something there. How you feel? Talking at the comment, Usain Bolt, if you hear that video, yeah. May I ask you a question? How you feel to hear that? Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that if the CEO and founder of an investment bank is in such debt, such deep debt, desperate, where he or she is having to put up their house for a measly $3 million, cannot pay back that debt, and is trying to sell off a house that them and them family have shares in, and didn't even tell the family, do you think that someone like that can be trusted with $10 million US? Tell me what you think in the comments. Guys, you're listening to Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Make sure you keep it locked here for all your political news, breaking news, updates, and reviews from out of Jamaica. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.